Justin, thank you everybody for having me today. Um, I can't see myself and I can't see you guys. So it is a little bit wild to talk to a computer screen. So you guys don't need to look at my face anyway. So just ignore me and you can listen a little bit. But first of all, I'd like to say thank you very much to Justin for having me. And I'm very proud to represent St. Anselm College. Many of you may not know St. Anselm. We're a Division II school up in Manchester, New Hampshire. We're a very high academic school. We have the best of both worlds. We're a small school with great academics, and we play a very, very high level of football. This year we started 0-5, and we won 4 out of our last 6 football games. And to be 100% honest with you, I think we can attribute to part of the turnaround was our All-American C.J. Miller stripped the football from a guy from New Haven that was about ready to score right before half. And I think if he would have did that, if he wouldn't have done that, we might have been 0-6, 0-7. Who knows what would have happened? So, I'm presenting from a defensive backfield standpoint, but I was a defensive coordinator for 12 years. You can see my information there, my Twitter name, and at the end, I believe I have my phone number. But before I forget, you're more than welcome to hit me up on Twitter or call me, text me, email me, and I'm happy to share anything. And I think Justin usually puts this stuff up at the end. I'm going to go through about a dozen slides, and then I have some clips of huddle. For years in the fourth quarter, if you're losing and you have no timeouts, you hear guys say, hey, hold them up and strip the football. And even when I was a player, I was like, man, why are we only doing that in the fourth quarter? And I just kept saying, like, we have to have that fourth quarter desperation mentality in the first quarter as well to be able to, increase our takeaways. And I don't like to say turnovers because I'm a really, really strong believer that we're going to take the football away. I'm going to show you a couple statistics, and, it's wild because every defensive coach, every head coach wants their defense to create more turnovers. And we measured rakes probably for 10 years as me being a defensive coordinator. And what I call rake is when the defender is literally trying to pry the ball out or punch it out. Okay. And we grade them and we tally them. And, my first whatever many years, we were averaging a couple rakes a game, and these stats, as you're seeing here, are 2016 when I was a DC at East Stroudsburg. We had 15 rakes, 12 forced fumbles, and we recovered 3 fumbles. Okay. And then in 2017, we doubled our amount of rakes. We had 34 forced fumbles. We had 23 recoveries. We added a couple interceptions. We averaged over 3 forced fumbles per game, which led every level of college football on a per game average. And you say, well, what was the difference between 2016 and 2017? And what was the difference between 2018 and 2017? I don't know our stats from 2018. I know at St. Anselm, we didn't have 34 forced fumbles, but we're working like crazy to get to that point. And to be honest with you, sometimes it's a perfect storm to have a year like we did in 2017 as far as a defensive unit. What's the difference? I'm going to go over 4 different things. And guys, most of you know drills to do, meaning the punch from behind, the second man in drill. But it's the other things, it's the mental aspect that I think is really, really different when it comes to taking the football away. So I'm going to talk about buy-in, your overall defensive scheme, how that can help you, your tackling system, and then how important it is for early success and what to do if you don't have that early success. So you got to buy in, man. And every coach has got to buy into it, including the offensive coordinator and head coach. And the reason I say your OC's got to buy into it is because during pass spell, the defenders are going to try to rip the football out. Okay. They're going to try to punch it out. And when you're trying to punch the ball out, sometimes you're going to punch a kid in the forearm or the bicep, and they're going to get angry. And you know how that can occur when it's a no contact practice. However, the offensive coordinator needs to realize we're doing this to help the team so they can score more points. Okay. And it's easy to say, yeah, but they truly have to buy into it. Okay. And another thing that offensive coordinators will absolutely hate, and I'm getting ahead of myself, is during our pass scale sessions, if it's an incompletion, we go and we scoop the ball up and score. Okay. And I learned that from the New York Giants 10 years ago. And what it does is, number one, it practices you scooping the ball up. Okay. Number two, it gives you a chance to get a little extra conditioning in. And number three, it creates awesome momentum in practice. And momentum is very important to have in practice because you're going to have momentum in games. And you guys know, and unfortunately we're missing spring ball, but in spring ball, you walk off the field and you're like, yep, defense won or offense won. And then the next day you got to get it. Sometimes the defense wins skill, offense wins team, but momentum in practice is important because your practice has got to replicate your games, okay? And you got to chart it in practice and games, okay? We're going to chart rakes, forced fumbles, recoveries, and interception in practice and games so we can see who's doing it, okay? So you got to get everyone to buy in with it. Scheme, you know, in 2017 was one of the few years in my career where we played almost exclusively zone, okay? I'm not sitting here, and we're not talking about defensive scheme. We were a big three invert team. We did a lot of 3 under 3 deep blitzes. We played a lot of cover 4 read. And what happened with that is when you're playing all this zone, you got 22 eyes on the ball. Okay, so if they throw a bubble to number 2 and the number 1 receiver's running the corner off vertically, if you're playing cover 4 and he may not see that bubble. If you're playing press man, he's running off. He's not going to see that bubble. But when you're playing zone, you can rally to that bubble and be the second man in, which you're going to see a lot of clips that I'm going to share with you, okay? Tackling. As much as we emphasize takeaways, we got much better at leverage tackling, okay? And you're going to see this in clips, but when I say leverage tackling, for example, if you're the corner on the right side and the receiver catches a hitch, the corner on the right side is going to tackle with his left shoulder, okay? So what happens then is your pursuit's going to come inside out, and they're either going to rip the ball out or they're going to have a nice sandwich tackle, and that corner has the ability to ripping the ball out. Now, we were doing that, keeping the head out of the play for the last 6-7 years because of this leverage tackling system. If you're getting your head across to tackle the ball, it's very difficult for a second man in sometimes to literally tackle the ball out. And that's a whole nother presentation when it comes to tackling, but you're going to be able to see it on film. The other thing that you need to realize with tackling, going back to the corner and the outside linebacker relationship or the corner and the safety relationship, is the reason I'm so adamant about your force players tackling with their inside shoulder is because if they miss the tackle, the ball will cut back inside. And when your inside pursuit trusts your force player or your corner that the ball is going to come inside if they miss, their angles are going to be more consistent and they're going to be able to come down with a lot more velocity. And the harder you hit, force is mass times acceleration, the harder you're hitting, the better chance the ball is going to pop out. You're going to see examples of this. Early success. Our first game in 2017, we forced 4 fumbles and it won us the football game. And you're going to see all these examples. And so I think it's very, very important that you do have success, especially in this day and age. Let's face it, if someone doesn't lose weight after a week, they're going to stop the diet. That's the way society is, and for young people, it's even worse. So anyway, my coaching philosophy, my life philosophy is this line right here. Do what others do better, and then do what others refuse to do. And when I'm practicing, when I'm developing a plan for my defensive backs, I'm going to work on ball disruption drills when the players are standing around. Okay? Meaning they're not going to be standing around. If they're not involved on special teams, if they're not doing something during pre-practice when the kickers and punters are out shagging balls and kicking field goals and whatnot, they're going to be working on stripping the football out. I tell our guys all the time, hey, you can stand around like a lot of the other teams do during these play-around periods when you're not involved, but we're not. We're on the field for 2 hours at St. Anselm College, and for 2 hours we are working, and it's not, we're not grinding them, but we're working and we're teaching to get better. Your drills must be realistic and can't be a walk-through attitude. And I'm telling you, you're gonna experience it and you're gonna get upset, but you must stay on your players to do it correctly. In 2017, I told you got to have the buy-in. We had the number 1 and number 2 guys in the nation in Division II football with forced fumbles. And I'm telling you, when the alpha dogs, when those guys, the leaders of your team, are buying into something you're saying, everybody else is going to do it. And guys, that is a struggle. You know, this was my first year at St. Anselm, and the defensive backs didn't have as many takeaways as I wanted. And to be honest with you, it's because we didn't all buy in. Okay. And they're going to be shared this presentation. And I've already shared a presentation like this a couple times, but I'm going to share it with them over and over and over, because eventually they're going to say, this coach is not going to give in. He's going to keep coaching me until I do it, so I might as well do it right. You also have to teach them the proper technique. I run youth football camps, and I'm telling you, I teach them how to recover the ball correctly. And then I tell my college guys how to recover the ball correctly. And you're going to see on the first clip a kid trying to recover the ball, jump on the ball, cradle the ball how you're supposed to, and it squirts out. I put that there because it's important that they do it correctly, that they cover the ball up, cover both points. They need to get on their side. They need to bring their knees up, and they need to only ever hand the ball back to an official. Let me reiterate that last sentence. You need to teach them to hand the football back to an official, because I don't even remember when it was, but we had a defensive player one time thought he was handing it to an official. He handed it to the opponent. We lost the ball. So guys, you must teach them the proper technique and then coach it every day. When we're talking scoop and score, if they palm the ball, I'm not happy. I say, do it again. You know, coming from my college coach, Denny Dowds, many of you know him. He's an absolute legend. When I was 18 years old, the first thing he said, and I know a couple of my ESU guys are on here listening to me, you know, he said, have angles in your knees, ankles, and hips. You have to get down. You have to have the top of your hand scraping the grass. So if you miss the football, you're pushing it to your goal line. You know, that's simple stuff. But when I got to St. Anselm, we weren't executing that, you know, and if they go and they palm the ball, and I'm going to have 5 new freshmen in the secondary who are awesome guys, and I hope that they're checking this out because they're going to know not to be lazy and palm the ball up. And then my big thing, and I tell all the young coaches that have ever worked for me, you have got to have the same intensity the first day of camp in your preparation and your excitement as you do late in November when it's cold and you're at the last week of the season. If they're not working on as hard at it, you need to reiterate it. Okay, so I just said, I think, why did it work the first year? Or I'm sorry, in 2017, we had early success. I had a YouTube video, and part of this video that you're going to see is what was on the YouTube video. Showed my DBs probably a week into preseason camp the video. The next 2 to 3 days, they were animals at taking the ball away. But that intensity didn't last. And to be honest with you, I kick myself and I blame myself because their intensity didn't last, because I should have stopped the meet. I should have taken 10 minutes and shown them the video again. Because when you see this video that I'm going to show you, you're going to be like, no, wait a second. This has got to be from his 21-year career, not one football season. Okay? And you're going to be shocked. I have 40 clips, half are drills, and I think I got 15 to 20 fumbles. Poke, rate, strip the ball during every bit of interaction. We already talked about this. Nobody is safe but the quarterback. And then I'm going to tell you one thing. If you're an offensive coordinator, you're a head coach, you better have your quarterback get involved in this somehow. Because quarterbacks never get touched, and they're constantly fumbling the ball because they never practice ball security except in the game. If I'm a head coach, my guy is going to be involved in some type of ball security drill as a quarterback. Okay, I'm not saying in team they got to be hit. I'm not saying in skill when you blitz you're going to chop the quarterback's arm, but that quarterback has got to learn ball security. Okay, talked about the scoop and score with the incomplete pass. The other thing I failed to mention is when you're doing this, proper return habits are also formed, meaning getting to the nearest sideline. If you have an interception, I want the defensive lineman to block the quarterback, okay? And when I say block the quarterback, you're literally picking him, because if you hit him too hard, you're going to get flagged. We talk about the guy to the nearest eligible receiver, the receiver that the ball wasn't intended to, he needs to be blocked. And then that last thing, like I said, it creates a realistic momentum in your practice. And when I'm saying that, you're going to have some guys talking trash to each other. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because what it does is it teaches your offense, when this momentum is occurring, to be comfortable in an uncomfortable situation, because that's how a football game is going to be. And you need to understand, as an offense, this defense is scooping an incomplete pass up and they're hooting and hollering and stuff, and they're getting better, and the receiver's walking back with his head down. It's going to teach that quarterback, hey, get your head up, let's go. And it teaches them a little bit of how to stop that momentum. So, guys, before I forget, if you just jot down my cell and my email, and then I'll get into these clips. Most of you already have my Twitter if you're following the link. Let me make sure. You guys okay? You still got me?
Yes, sir.
Cool. I just got to get to my link here. Hopefully, Huddle was acting a little wild yesterday. You guys see my Huddle okay?
You got a video up, Coach?
Yep.
Yeah, we can see the video.
Okay. Now, the first day of camp, first day of spring, I will teach the guys how to recover a fumble properly. I don't do this drill anymore. You know, you don't necessarily need to just lay balls out there and have them recover it, but I will teach them, because it is important. Watch the big guy in the middle. or the big guy on the left. See how he misses it. And that's why you do it, guys. Second day, or the second drill, we're teaching them how to scoop and score. Top of the hand is on the ground. Like I said, I'm not doing this drill specifically anymore. And the reason I'm not is because they're going to have plenty of time to practice it in other drills. Meaning, as a linebacker coach or a DB coach, I'll have them backpedal, I'll have them do little movement pattern drills, and then I'll have them scoop and score a ball. Don't waste your time after the initial teaching of this drill to do it like this. Some of you may say this is a silly drill. You see Coach Furlow here. He stands in the middle right here, and he's going to go to one defender or the other. And what it is it's called city boy, country boy. If it's crowded, you recover it. If it's clear, you scoop and score. Once again, this isn't something we do a lot. You do it one time to teach them the concept. So you get a better idea of what we're doing right here. Picks a side, we recover on one. You scoop and score on the other. You see the top of the hand is on the ground. See Coach Sposs there? Okay, so I got most of my clips are from East Stroudsburg. This is us at St. Anselm. And this is a punch drill. This is a Peanut Tillman drill. To be honest with you, I added this year. And all they're doing is it's target practice, guys. That's all it is. Come up, try to punch it out. I don't want the secure here. You see the top of the screen, 35, the guy that's going against 35. I don't want the secure there. I don't want the secure here. See the guy with the yellow gloves? That's what I want. And the guy below him, I think it's 28. That's what we want, just a punch. All it is target practice. Unfortunately, sometimes you hit their forearm, sometimes you hit their bicep, sometimes the ball gets hit in places where it shouldn't be hit. Same thing. We're just trying to punch it out. I don't want a lot of securing the tackle here. This was the first day we did it. They're still trying to figure it out. Now, this stuff we will practice. We will practice this stuff because this is a little bit of a skill development part of punching the ball out. Do it to the other side. Number 24 took one there. Took one for the team. Good guys, man. We got good kids at St. Anselm, man. It is a joy to work there. So we will rep the heck out of it. So I believe now we're coming from behind. Big key with this drill. If you're a skill guy or if you're faster than the guy, I want it to be a surprise poke or a surprise rip. Because as soon as you put that secure hand up, the ball carrier is going to realize you're there and they're going to tighten the thing up. So we want this to be a surprise. And this, like I said, this is the first day I'm teaching it now, and there is a little bit of a learning curve with it to time it up. Like 40, he's securing the tackle before the punch. You can't do that. 24 is not doing a bad job. 28's not bad. These are perfect drills to do in pre-practice, or if you're doing special teams, or when you're doing like a field goal block and you have 30 guys available that are standing there. These are the types of drills that are going to make make you a good defensive team. But do it during times when guys are standing around. And it's a great time. A lot of, the higher level coaches, a lot, or higher level schools, you have a lot of volunteers, a lot of GEAs. Even in the high school level, you may have that brand new coach. Teach them how to teach these drills, because then they're going to take a lot of pride in it, and they're going to learn to be a coach. They're going to learn to relate to the players. Okay, guys, so this is what we're doing here is we're teaching the premise of the shoulder tackle and the second man in concept. You're going to see everyone is going to hit and step with they're going to step with the same foot as that shoulder is that's hitting for power. And like I said, that's a whole nother story. Okay, but what we're doing, if you're going to see here, he's going to step and he's going to hit with this shoulder. He's going to step, and then he's literally going to tackle the ball out. Literally tackle the ball. What I do want them to do is how 18 and 19 are doing it. I want 18 to get that work on the same foot, same shoulder. So if 18 does it the old school way, and I'm not going to say what my true thoughts are on the old school tackling, but I'm going to tell you it's not effective. If 18's putting his helmet on the football, 19 can't get it. So we're going to step with the same foot, same shoulder. Second man in is going to tackle the ball. This drill is not going to translate on Saturday or Friday night unless you do it a lot. You have to do it a lot. We do this drill a lot. Once again, this drill isn't necessarily a killer drill, but I'd like it to be the way 31 and 18 are doing it. I do want the tackle by 31. You take it up a notch. What we're doing here is just understanding leverage. That's all. Real simple drill. Just understanding leverage. This is the first time we did it. I didn't have clips of other times, but we really want them to go back and forth a little bit more. So they have to understand. Very, very important, especially for corners. And these are corners all here. Okay. Our safeties and our outside linebackers are here with Coach Griesmer. We try to split up our safeties and corners when we're working. But for corners, it's super, super, super critical that you tackle with your inside shoulder. I will correct a kid, hey, nice tackle, but you used the wrong shoulder. And what they're doing here is he's saying, okay, I have to hit with this shoulder, and my man number 20's got to hit with his left shoulder. Because this way, if we do miss the tackle, our help is going to be there. If I miss the tackle with this shoulder, he's getting out here, and this guy can't make the play. Now, I know this is very, very nitpicky, but I'm going to tell you why it's important. Let's just say this guy is a safety. And here's our corner. Our corner sets this edge. Or I'm sorry, he does not set the edge. And he breaks contain. If this happens often, this safety, when he's coming down the hash, he's got to throttle down right here. Because he doesn't know if he's going to have to break here or he's going to break here. What happened in 2017 is these guys set up a wall, guys. They set up a wall, and then these cats came flying down, and they were kicking people's butts. They were kicking people's butts and hitting them with such velocity there's fumbles being caused, and you're going to see those clips. And then we always, everything is you have to recover the ball. Go get the ball. And I don't want to brother-in-law it. Number 40 is a heck of a player now. He's one of those he's a do what I'm told guy. Number 3 has to work a little bit to get it out, and that's what I want. I don't want the ball to be dropped when the guy comes in like that one right there. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some clips. All the East Stroudsburg ones, meaning the team in the red, they're all from one season. So here's a good example of a good sandwich right there, and then a recovery in traffic. This is a great example. Watch 54. Now, 54 wasn't a 4'6" guy. He was about 250 pounds. So he couldn't do the surprise punch, but watch what happens. Sorry about the video, it's a little grainy. Punches it out. Now, before I forget, the other thing that you must teach, whether it's an onside kick or it's an offense or defensive takeaway / turnover, is you need your team, all 11 players on that field, to point to your goal line, whether you have the darn ball or not. There was one occasion where we got the ball and we weren't supposed to. But how many times, especially when you're watching it on TV, as a fan, as a spectator, you're like, oh, they got the ball because they're pointing and they're not. I'm telling you, it's critical to do that.
Hey, Coach, I don't know what it was. The mic, the audio got a little jacked up. I don't know, it was something on the mic or whatever, but I just want to give you the heads up.
You good right here?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay, so all I was saying was that he secured the tackle here because he's too darn slow. See how he secured it and then punched it out. And then watch how we all point here. We're all pointing. Watch the punch from behind. Here's an example. Quarterbacks running with the ball are the best, man. Watch the punch from the behind with the right arm. It just comes natural now. If you do it all the time, it comes natural. And then what do? We recover it because it's cloudy. We're all pointing, and then you celebrate like crazy. Another great punch right here. Watch number 32, left arm. Punching it out. Makes a critical error. What do we do wrong here, 41? He tries to pick it up. He tries to pick it up when he shouldn't have. It's not that's not a clear view there. So we lost that one. That was a forced fumble, but we didn't recover it. Okay, so this is, another point. I talked about the 22 eyes on the football. And when I say 22 eyes, you better have 22 eyes on the football. And you better have 11 bodies to the football when that whistle's blown. I want you all to watch this right D end here. True freshman, I believe. He is a true freshman at this time. His name is Isaiah Regal. Awesome kid. But watch this right D end. Terrible force. We don't get this fit at all. That's not the point. Watch the right D end. Terrible football play until right there. There it is. And the point. You can see a better view of him right here. The right D end. Number 92. He's hustling his butt off. Comes down, chops that thing out. And I'm sorry about the video. This was from my YouTube video because unfortunately when my contract wasn't renewed, they didn't renew my huddle rights at East Stroudsburg. So lost all the access, but these are some great memories, man. Now, I will never forget this one. We were getting the this was when I was thinking to myself on the sideline, we might be going a little bit too far with holding them up and trying to strip the ball, because my head coach, Coach Dowds, is about ready to fire my butt right here. Because watch what happens. They hand the ball to 43. He ends up looking like Mike Allstott. But wait until you see what happens. Who has the ball? We only have one guy pointing. That's the problem, but we got it. We got that one out of that big jumbled mess. So you're going to see our safety here, right here. See how he's holding him up? This was the kid that led the nation. Holding him up, holding him up, holding him up. Our opponents should have started to learn this year that when 32 and when Billy, I forget Billy's number, when these guys got a hold of you, you might as well go down because the ball's coming out now. And there it is. Now, we don't like this because he's not getting to the nearest sideline and we have a clip, but you see the cavalry's there. And we'll move on to the next play. Okay, so this is the safety again. Now watch how hard he comes down. He comes down so hard because he trusts that his corner is going to be there. And then he also knows that, you know what, I'm going to hold him up for my buddies to come and get the ball out. But meanwhile, he just tackles the football. Pursuit. Look at the pursuit. You have 6 guys. All pointing. Huge football play. But it can't happen unless you have trust in that force player and that heavy pursuit. There's your sandwich. 32 literally tackles the ball. What you're seeing here, and let me stop this for a second. You know, what you're seeing here isn't guys fumbling it. We're taking the damn thing away. That's the mentality you have to have, is take it away, not fumble it. This isn't a fumble, in my opinion. We took that damn thing away. 32 took it away. And then look, we're all pointing. It's a home game for us. That ref is going to be killed if he doesn't give us that football. And that's a borderline call right there. He could have been down. If that's at Bloomsburg, we're not getting that call. If we're not pointing in our direction, we're not getting that call. Okay, here's another example right here. I tell you, we had one Sekou Jones, Dakota Everett, and Mike Wind, 3 of the best group of linebackers I probably ever coached. They all 3 were all conference for us. And you're going to see this kid and this kid come down, and they are going so hard because they trust the corner. Now, here's another thing. Watch what this corner does. He's somewhat lazy. You would say that he's somewhat lazy because he's just sitting there. But what's important is he forces the ball inside, and watch the force that number 34 applies. That's a violent hit now. Boom, boom, fumble. Why do you have that velocity? There's no indecision by 32 and 34 where that ball's going. It's a violent play right there. First game of the year here. Same idea, if I recall correctly. Nope, not really. Corner. What's he do? Just tackles the ball, takes it away. But guys, that doesn't happen if you just practice it once a year. He just comes up, takes it away. We almost didn't get that one either. This in our film study, they got ripped here because they all weren't pointing. But we got it. They gave it to us. I think you see the same clip from another view here. Once again, that's not necessarily a fumble. That's takeaway. We're taking the football away. Literally taking it away. Setting the edge, that corner can come up and he can take his shot. He's taking his shot because he knows that he has support inside. That corner is going to come up and be very aggressive with his inside shoulder because his inside pursuit's coming. And there we go. That one won the game. They're going into the score. It won the football game. We didn't have as many takeaways as we're going to have this year at St. Anselm. But I'm going to tell you one thing. We had 3 that were big time, that basically you could almost say won the football game for us. This was the last play of the football game right here. Corner up top is number 28. I believe it's number 28. Takes the ball away. Ryan Morris recovers it. But 28, Suton Woolbright, was the same guy that was doing it correctly in the drills that I highlighted. Watch what he does. Comes up, pokes it out. There it is. Game over. Win number 3 in a row after starting 0-6. Here's another view of it. Rips that thing out, and we're all pointing, and it's over. Takeaways are fun, man. Okay, so here, watch my guy, All-American, Defensive Player of the Year in the conference, C.J. Miller. This is what Coach Adam, our head coach, preaches. Blue-collar mentality, get after. Watch number 1. Not the best football play by our defense. Strips it out. There it is. Saves the game for us, maybe. Once again, everyone on our team's pointing. Hey, and look, they're arguing with the ref a little bit. 36, our team captain Ryan Sullivan, he's pointing. We're all pointing. I don't think they really care what we have to say, but I'm going to tell you, your team can influence the officials if it looks real. Sometimes you got to be actors. You know, none of us cheat on purpose, but we might use a little gamesmanship once in a while. Punch, punch, punch. And the point. Big time hit here. Sorry if the video is so grainy. He sets the edge. Boom. Nice hit. I often tell guys when they are working on scooping and scoring is that you may only have one chance to score a touchdown. And number 49, he was a true freshman, man, and this is the homecoming game. First of all, we get the quarterback literally fumbles it here. I'm not going to say we forced this. But this is why you practice scooping and scoring. Right here. I don't know if he tries to scoop that if he didn't do it 37 times a week during the season. We scored 5 touchdowns in 2017, and part of it's because of that. Great pursuit here. Cam Flanagan, number 35, comes down hard off the hash, hitting with his outside shoulder because he's coming inside out. He knows that 35 is going to be there, or 36. But the big thing, how we get this is we're hustling. Everyone gets the ball. Everybody gets to the ball. That's a defensive lineman that gets that. It's huge. If your defensive linemen are recovering footballs or forcing turnovers 30 yards downfield, that's a huge thing. You never, ever want to give up an opportunity by not hustling. And I'm going to end it on this clip right here. It's my favorite clip, probably out of all of them, because it really, really epitomizes the whole idea of holding them up and taking the ball away. Can't make it up, guys. But once again, you have to have guys that buy into it. When you score on defense, you guys know that's a big time changeup. Now, just to reiterate, sorry about this. Just to reiterate my points. They have to buy in. I'm not, the scheme doesn't really matter necessarily, but what I'm saying is that could have been a difference. You got to use leverage tackling, and then you got to have some early success. And if you don't have early success, what you have to do is go back to the basics and reiterate the importance of it. And listen, show this highlight. I'm going to show this highlight until I have another unit that creates 34 fumbles in 1 year. And it's going to happen. I promise you. Hopefully it happens this year. But sometimes it takes the perfect storm, which we had a perfect storm. So I'll open it up to questions. I'm sorry if I was rambling on. I get a little bit excited when I'm talking about taking the ball away. But what questions do you guys have?
Yeah, guys, feel free to hit the chat for any questions. Honestly, Coach, one of the things that I was noticing as you were speaking, just a lot of really positive, comments just about the stuff that you do and your mentality and identity on everything. I think that was really cool. So, like, if you open up the chat, you'll be able to see it. But a lot of positive comments in there for sure. But does anybody have questions for Coach?
A lot of people on here. This is pretty cool.
Go. Do you see the chat?
No, I'll check it out. I do have a quarantine beer, Coach Adams. Coach Adams used to give us spits up at Cortland, man. You're the man, buddy. Probably the only time in my life I'm going to ever have a real beard. Do I do the drills every day? We'll do some type of drill every day, yes. But we're going to incorporate them. We're going to incorporate them in with other drills. For instance, we'll do a back pedal drill and we'll come up and scoop the ball. We'll do a tackling drill and we'll come and we'll take the ball away. We will incorporate these drills every single day. We'll do punch. We'll do punch or a second man in. We'll do them every day, but we're going to incorporate them doing other things. We're not going to put 3 balls on the line and go scoop and score, but for the first day, because we're going to practice scooping and scoring during all of our pass skill. Whenever there's an incompletion, we're going to scoop and score. When we do turnover circuits, we Coach Adam, and he does takeaways and tackling every single day. And we'll incorporate these drills in that. But we do 3 stations, and we'll do tackling or takeaways in that some way, shape, or form. But we always try to do 2 different skills in one drill because we don't have a ton of time. On the punch, are you coaching the wrap after the punch? when I'm punching it from behind, when you're a DB, it's going to be a split second after the punch, I'm going to secure it. What I want is the punch to be a surprise, because when the ball carrier is carrying it loosely, that's when you have a chance. But when he feels you, he's going to squeeze that thing down. So I want to get that ball out before he squeezes it.
Oh, another one came in.
Oh, man. So how exactly do you manage intensity during practice when going with the offense during skelly team, etc., without ticking off the offense? That's why I said, to be honest with you, your head coach and your OC have to buy in. Okay. Our guys are blue collar guys. That's what the BCM meant on my slides. And to be honest with you, our offensive guys want to help our defensive guys as much as possible because they want the ball back. They know that they're going to help. It's going to help. Our fumbles on offense were few and far between. And I'm not going to say it's necessarily because we tried to strip it, because we got to do a better job of it during practice, to be honest with you. But I think you just can't, as long as you're not putting the guys in danger, in my opinion. And here I am. I'm a DB coach now. I'm not the D coordinator. That's my head coach, and I'm not the OC. I'm just trying to fit in my own little spot. And I'm going to push the envelope as far as I can. But my guy, Jordan Softcheck, who's an unbelievable OC, he's one of those, he's a very, very tough dude, man. And he really doesn't mind when we're going after the ball. Do you scout which guys you're playing, which are turnover prone, or do you reiterate that to each week to the players? We do not. I've never really done that. I just try to treat it the same with everybody because, we just don't have the resources to do that, to be honest with you. What other questions did I miss? Any other questions? The biggest thing is that you must have your whole team buy in. And guys, what we all have to understand, and I'm an old guy now. I used to think I was a young coach. I'm an old guy. Our players may not act the same as we did when we were playing, but they still want to be loved and they still want to be coached. And just because they might not be vocally buying in or visibly doing what you're asking, I think they're still listening and trying to do what you ask. Any other questions, guys? If you didn't catch my information, please feel free to text or hit me up on Twitter, and I'll share anything I want. Coach, do you put this online?
Yes, sir. It'll be available on the drive.
Cool.
So once once the session concludes, the file will convert, and then once it does, drop it in the drive, and then it'll be good, within the next, I don't know, half hour. So
awesome.
Sometimes it takes a little bit to process once it's on the drive, but it'll be good. It'll be good by today, for sure.
Well, we all need to thank you, Coach. You're the best, man. Like, this is incredible. I'm really happy that I got to be a part of it, and what you're doing for the coaching community from all over the world is just phenomenal. Thank you very much.
I appreciate that. And, I definitely, what I tell people, man, is without obviously coaches like yourself that are willing to come on, and the coaches that are in the room willing to listen, this would be nothing. So, as a community, man, I mean, we really banded together and pushed this thing forward. So props to everybody involved. And it's been, like I said, it's been a lot of fun. I'm glad that we could do stuff like this to give back. And it's been great. It's been great. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Obviously, you can check on my Twitter in the lineup or in the post if you missed Coach's Twitter handle, but reach out to him there. And, the drive, the link to the drive is in my Twitter profile. It's right in there. You can't miss it. Just click it. Sometimes with the videos, you might just have to right click, make a copy, and then download it, just because the high volume of people watching it is just, we've exceeded. I didn't even know that was a thing, but yeah, right click, make a copy, download, and you're good to go. Awesome. Coach, once again, man, thanks a lot. Something just, okay, yeah. Thanks so much for your time, Coach. That was a great presentation, man.
Thank you. Everyone be safe out there. Hopefully we're back on the field soon. Take